Hello and welcome back, everybody. Slim Slam and the Bandwagon fan at it again. Proudly brought to you by the Jersey Cartel. I'm Slim, he's Slam, and to my left, the Bandwagon fan. Boys, how are we?
Well, I'm a bit flat, Blaze, because I tipped like absolute crap.
Yeah, you've had a terrible week. I've only just marginally edged you a little bit. And the big guy to my left, I imagine he'll be up and about with a good week on the tip, my friend.
Neither surprised or shook.
Yeah.
Knew it was coming.
Yep, okay.
And I'm glad that I'm reigning supreme once again.
A nice little touch of humbleness from you.
Always,
there, my friend.
always.
Very good. Hey, with all that said and done, and as we like to lead off in our review show, maybe the talking points out of the week, Schnazzy, in the form of good call, bad call.
Yes, very good.
Just didn't give me heaps on that introduction,
sometimes I just sit there and daydream.
Yeah, okay.
And I've just got a lot going on up top. And
that happens.
Get confused in the review and
Don't
the
hurt
preview.
yourself.
Yeah.
But, we'll get into it and stop rambling.
That's the way.
Good call, bad call. The NFC East shouldn't get a playoff spot this year.
It's becoming almost undeniable that this division just should be evicted from the NFL at the moment.
It's so heinous.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I don't know what the overall record win-loss at the moment is.
No one's got more than 2 wins.
Yeah.
I think it's like 5,
It's
18,
5
and
wins.
1.
Yeah.
I think it's
So-
5, 18, and 1 as a division.
Which is a deplorable rate of fire,
The
considering...
Chiefs have got 5 wins on their own.
And when you add into that factor that most of those teams have played each other more than once so far. So...
It's not looking great for the NFC
It's
East.
just, what the hell are you going to do with that? So, I mean, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek to say
Not
that
more than
they,
once, but...
they shouldn't get a spot. Yeah, no, maybe not more.
Thanks for
than
coming
once,
back to us
no.
on that one, Slam.
No.
Thanks,
Sorry,
mate.
I was just rattled by Blaze's outlandish
I was
statement.
shooting from the hip
Well,
on
the
that one, but
The Giants have got the Eagles twice over the next 3 games.
yeah.
So
So-
somebody will probably win.
There'll be
of
2
those.
more wins at least going into
Maybe,
that division,
unless
or
they
2
tie it.
draws.
To circle back to the original point, I mean, obviously the NFL is steeped in tradition, and that's not something that they would do. But
No.
the case could be made that it's going to end up with a team in there that probably doesn't deserve it when someone in that, those superior divisions will end up missing out by virtue of where they are.
It's disgusting, Blaze. Like 7 teams are going to make the playoffs this year, so an extra one than normal. And it's very likely that the 4th best wildcard team will have at least 1 or 2 wins more than the team that wins the NFC East.
Yep. You
So,
hate
like,
to see it, but
and the team that wins that division gets a home final.
yeah.
Like, I don't like it.
It stings, but that's the NFL for you. And as
If
it
there's
stands,
any team, in my opinion, over watching the last 3 weeks, that's going to come out of this division with an actual maybe a chance to be competitive in a game in the playoffs, I reckon it's the Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
They sort of turned the proverbial corner.
Yep.
And we might talk about them a bit later, but that's maybe one to watch for the fans at home.
We'll bookmark that and come back to it. But I agree. I think
And
they had a good showing this weekend.
At 1 win and a draw, they're only half a game out. So,
which is really
only
good.
really takes 1 good week and they'll be in front.
Going into week 7.
Yep.
That's what you love to see.
It's genuinely laughable.
It is laughable.
I'm astounded. Anyway, I reckon it's a good call. Get rid of the NFC East. They're no good. Ship them off.
Bin 'em.
I reckon just stick him.
Yeah.
Stick him in, take him to New York State.
Or maybe
New
they're
York
playing...
City, sorry, not New York State. Take them to New York City and just let those teams play each other. Pretty much preseason friendly games.
Add the Jets in with them as well.
Why not just chuck him in the CFL, the CFL or the XFL or something like that?
Mate,
Just
that's beyond my knowledge.
Relegate him. Canadian and...
Did the XFL fold and get rebought?
Dwayne The Rock
Dwayne
Johnson
Rock
bought
Johnson
it, I think. He knew.
I'm not sure that they'd win any games there either.
Oh, Jesus. Let's move along, my friend, before we get bogged down in that.
Now, let's keep the wheels turning here.
Yep.
And this is one that you both are going to be all over. Le'Veon Bell signing for the Chiefs is a great decision and improves the Chiefs' chances of winning the Super Bowl again.
Well, it can't hurt the Chiefs' chances of winning the Super Bowl, no doubt. I mean, Clyde's looked pretty good so far. Hasn't amazed after week 1, but he went bunter this week, which we'll obviously talk about a lot later. But I think adding in Lev Bell with a team around him that are really good will obviously help him. And as well, I think the one thing the Chiefs lacking with Clyde being so small in stature at like 5'7", 5'8", he gives you the big power back on the goal
power
line
run,
as well.
100%.
So I think
And that
it's a great call for that.
That was a point I had written down, which was going to lay on you boys later, but he hasn't had a touchdown this year, I believe, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
He had
Yeah,
that
he's
one
had
in
a
the,
touchdown.
He's had one?
in the first one.
Yeah.
With
one
that
of
big
the
juke.
first one.
But yeah, there's been a bit quiet since then. I think on the Lev Bell thing as well, when it comes to personality, and I think the word diva gets chucked around a bit more than than most with wide receivers, but certainly in the running back game there too. Lev has had some issues, obviously. He held out in Pittsburgh. It hasn't worked out in the Jets. There's that question mark that hangs over his head. But I think if anyone has earned the credit to kind of, take that gamble, if you want to call it a gamble, on straightening him up and making sure you get production. I think it probably is Andy Reid.
Well, it's win-win.
And that organisation.
It's win-win. He's signed a 1-year deal worth $1 million. He won't be there next year. It's a 1-year deal thing, and someone else will sign him and if he has a good year, someone else will sign him for big money.
Yeah.
So it's win for us and it's a win for him personally.
I think it's a good call. No losers there.
And take some pressure off Clyde as well in his first year.
100%. He is still a rookie.
The AFC North is challenging the NFC West for the best division in football. Good call, bad call.
Bad call.
Yeah.
After watching what the Steelers did to the Browns on the weekend, yeah, probably bad call. And then the Bengals are a fair way further off it than probably the 4th worst team in the NFC West.
So both teams have a record. So both divisions, AFC North is 15-6, NFC West is 15-7, and up until this week, the Steelers, Ravens, and Browns have collectively lost 2 games.
Well, that it is impressive, no doubt, and they've definitely been more impressive than I thought they would be. Schnars,
yeah,
you're not wrong there, but I think the NFC West has played each other more than the AFC North have, so they've obviously got some more losses there. And also, I think that they're just all around. I think all 4 teams are better there than probably the 3 teams in the other.
It might just need some more runs on the board too. I think
the Bengals are really bringing that division down.
Yeah, of course. And obviously the Browns took a big step back this week after Chucky kind of jumped all over him last episode in the preview. But you can't fault the AFC North for what they're doing there. It's coming along. So.
No, they've probably got 2 of the best teams in football at the moment.
Yeah.
The Browns is the interesting one there, though, because, the games that they've won every game that they didn't get, smashed in. Every game that they've lost, they've been absolutely killed. Yeah. The Steelers killed them, and the Ravens killed them. Yeah.
Front runners.
Yeah.
Yep, someone said that.
Was it you?
No, it was you.
Oh, okay. I don't remember I had breakfast yesterday.
Well done.
What about today?
Yeah, granola, probably.
Okay.
Nice.
Lovely.
Fibre.
Last one. Good call, bad call. And I think this one might be a celebratory one for all the fans out there as well.
Okay.
But Blazers' best bet is dead.
Yes, well...
Great call.
Fans, it comes as no shock to anyone that the best bet once again went down this week. And it's actually taken the guarantee with it. We tied the fate of the Vikings to both the guarantee and the best bet.
And I'm not happy.
And now we have both collectively bit the pavement, as Sam has said previously. It is with great sadness that this segment will get retired. It gets its
The jersey
funeral.
won't be in the rafters. Put it this way.
City Morgue, you killed this segment. We chill it. I don't know. It's over. It's over for the best bet. It's lost its credibility, and I think at this point it's back to the drawing board for the preview show. I don't know what else to say there, Schnars. Good call and goodbye to the best bet.
Slammer, what about this one to finish? Good call, bad call. Taking the Vikings at the line in the second half.
Yeah. If I can hawk it back to last week, Schnars, I think that both of you and I both said that's a terrible decision. Why don't you do it in the second half instead of the first half? As we know, Atlanta like to start well. And wouldn't you know?
Well.
Wouldn't you know?
Yeah,
you would have been right.
We don't have this issue anymore.
Gave up 16 points in the last quarter, did the Falcons.
Yeah.
I love it.
Moving forward, I think it's a collective weight off all of our shoulders that this segment...
What do you mean, our shoulders?
Well, no, because this is our show, and this segment is beginning to burden the show, and thus it has been cut for dead weight. So
Schnars and I never talk about that segment on our own Hotmail account thingy.
Hotmail.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, good. Hotmail. Not about it.
The animosity
between
Slim and the Bandwagon.
I'm not here for it. No, we've diffused that. We're good now, aren't we?
I don't know. Are we?
It remains to be seen. Is that all you got for us? You're going to close out on that note there?
Yeah, all done.
Yeah,
all
very
done.
good, mate. I guess to completely round out that point, I am wearing the clown hat tonight. It was the stipulation.
For the entirety of the show.
If the best bet didn't get up, the hat was staying on. And frankly, it is so big, considering who had to wear it before me, that I don't know how it's going to stay on the whole show because I am swimming in it. But with that said, first match of the week, I should say, was the Titans and the Bills playing a bit of a catch-up game. And the Titans... kind of shocked everyone except for my good self. The Titans took it out 42-16. And I don't know, boys, you want to take it from there? You got any stats for me first off?
No, because I only did stats for this week's game, so not the game that happened last Wednesday.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little bit of clout you've thrown yourself after being hurt in that previous segment. Really nice way to try and get some credentials.
Was that one of the 5
yourself.
tips you got right this week, Blaze?
Hey, I beat Sam this week, Chief. No, just stay in your lane with
That's
that
great.
shit.
I went at 50%.
I actually
Very
looked before the
flat.
game started. I was scrolling through my Twitter feed and I saw the Bills had quite a few outs. Tre'Davious White was out, who's obviously their best corner. John Brown wasn't playing as well, so I was a little bit not scared, a bit skeptical of how well the Bills would do. But I was still more thrown off by the Titans theoretically not training in 2 weeks or practicing. However, they went out in both games this week, or week 5 and week 6, and they showed us that, you know what, they probably were training and they're probably going to cop a hefty fine.
I think King Henry's going to get a bit of airtime, probably in the second go round here. But
How was that stiff arm though against Josh Norman? Good
tough.
lord.
And a byproduct of that is obviously the play action pass, and I think that's helping Tannehill a fair bit. It keeps the pressure off him. They have to sell out on the run.
Yeah.
And you can see he's starting to reap the benefits there. He's had a couple of 3 to 4 touchdown games in a row now, I believe. I'm not the numbers man. But it's really happening for him down there, and obviously they've had a good week, as you know.
Yeah, well, someone did send me something today, Blaze, saying that over the last 14 games, Tannehill's as good as Mahomes.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's stupid, but like, still, the stats do look.
I was wondering where that was
eerily
going.
similar.
Yeah,
but I mean, no one's going to trade Pat Mahomes for Ryan Tannehill.
Well, let's not get bogged down in that one.
think-
But
Probably circling back to last week's preview show as well. I said this is a big chance for the Bills to look really good here and solidify themselves as a good team with 2 wins.
you did.
Yeah.
And the opposite's happened. They've lost both.
Yep.
And the Titans have gone out and won both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably the exact inverse of what we were saying.
Which you'll see later on when we get to the Elite 8. So
Impact that heavily.
That'll probably impact
A
that
lot of
heavily.
movement this week, finally.
Yep.
A lot of movement.
That's what we love.
Excited.
That's obviously coming to you in the preview show. So
tune into next episode.
Yeah, next episode.
Yeah.
Probably about a day after you see this one, I would have thought. So check it out there, and that's going to be a nice hot take. Patriots Broncos in a big upset. None of us saw this one coming. Sam kind of flagged it.
Yep.
As on the radar, but he did pick the Pats.
I'll take that as a small win there, Blaze.
You can take a
but I didn't have enough nards to actually tip it.
Yes, you can take a tiny little bit of credit for that one, but the Broncos did come away 18-12 and a bit of a snore fest, really. Cam Newton was up and down with his return there, and not heaps to find in this.
Yeah, I mean, Blaze, certain people did say, if Cam played against the Chiefs, they'd beat the Chiefs. Well,
Egg on my face.
That's not what he sounds
I
like.
don't sound like that either, but egg on my
he
face.
couldn't even beat the Broncos. So
Hadn't trained for 2 weeks.
I don't give a rat's. Anyone can beat the Broncos.
They
at the
would be
moment.
seriously disappointed. The Broncos
At home too.
The Broncos are decimated with injury, but they got Drew Lock.
Once again, the inverse of what I said. I thought we were going to see Brett with 2 T's versus Stidham at quarterback.
Hey, what'd you get?
We got Locke and Newton.
We got the 2 starters.
Which, looking back at it, I was like, Locke must have had a good game, turned it on. He did not. But Brandon McManus, 6 for 6.
Your kickers.
18 points.
Yep.
Give it a tick. Man of the match to the kicker. Absolute snoozer.
Put the team on his back and just...
Absolute snoozer.
Hang on. Are you telling me the Broncos kicked 6 field goals?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That shows how little I cared about this game.
Yeah, no tubs in that one.
Do you want to know an interesting stat about this one, Blaze?
Of course.
You know how I like interesting stats?
You do love an interesting stat.
Only 5 quarterbacks under the age of 25
Yep.
have ever beaten Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Sorry, did I say 5 quarterbacks?
Yeah.
'Cause I meant 4.
Yeah, okay.
Only 4 have ever done it.
Yep.
Mahomes.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
And now Drew Lock.
Jeez, it's good company.
Try picking the odd one out in that group.
No, it's
Not
good.
hard.
It's good company to be in, and Drew Lock has earned some credit along the journey so far. But I'm not giving him much for this game.
Really devalues that group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it takes away from the value of the stat a little bit.
One
You would
other
say.
stat that I did pull out of this game, which Cam Newton joins Michael Vick as the only quarterback to rush for over 5,000 yards.
Yeah. Yep. Did say that.
And that's good
That's
company.
a huge stat.
Yeah.
That's good company.
It will be joined probably pretty soon by Lamar.
Probably not pretty soon, but
Well, the
eventually.
rate he's going to have another 108 this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be like another 2 or 3 years, but yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's,
It's trending.
yeah,
It's
What, he
trending
got
in
like
the right
1,300
direction.
last year?
yeah, about that. And what he's started for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Newton had 79 yards on the ground,
Yep.
like you were sort of alluding to there. No other Patriot had more than 19 yards on the ground.
I just don't get their running back department.
That is
I don't
pathetic.
understand what is going
Well,
on.
James White's more of a wide receiver out of the backfield than anything
Yeah.
else these days.
Sony
And Sony
Michel's
Michel is just so
cold.
up and down.
Yeah.
Really hard to pick.
He's
there.
consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great way to put it, my friend. Hey, put a line through those two, and let's move on to the Titans' second game in quick succession here. They took on the Texans in an absolute shootout, 78 total points there, 42 to 30.
Quick math.
42 to 30, and it's unlike me to have quick math
I
actually.
know, I was checking them in my head after you said it.
42 to 36 in the Titans' favour, and just more of Derrick Henry really.
I was absolutely spewing here.
Yeah,
I went out on a limb on my own little, Revis's Island out there. I picked the Texans, and I reckon I was counting them before they hatched.
Yeah.
I was all over this, and I was
Yep.
like, they're gonna win, and then old mate Derrick bloody Henry, the king,
keep calm and run the ball,
Derrick
and
bloody
that's
Henry.
exactly what's
Just-
going on.
give the 94-yard
Yeah.
touchdown that he
Yeah.
had. Oh,
It's not right to see a man of that size
No.
to move like that. It was, can you imagine being a cornerback?
No, I don't want to imagine. I don't even want to think about it.
What the hell?
he
I
runs
would
quicker
turn
than a
around.
stiff breeze blows you 100 yards.
100%,
I would
mate.
turn
He
around
was
and run
Downhill
the other way.
too.
Oh.
He is something else.
Yeah.
So what? He had 212 yards, which
Yeah,
was his
two
third
tuds.
200-yard
In
touch
in
game.
consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
So-
only 3 other running backs
Yep.
who have done that in that
Yep.
same time period.
Put
That's
the
a
rushing
huge
total.
stat for
Put the
him.
rushing total to bed.
yeah.
Oh,
He's
100%.
he's an absolute maniac. And if I know we have some fans out there that aren't the avid NFL fans that we are, but they're tuning in for the bants and they want to get to know the game and whatever. If you don't know what Derrick Henry looks like, maybe just like Google it or
But
something. Because
he'd be
No,
the definite-
no, what you want to do is Google the picture of him playing at Alabama, of him standing next to an NFL running back, and he's about 1.5 feet taller than him.
yeah, we're talking an absolute Mack truck of a human being.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
Picture
squad
of-
of men on
the
his own.
picture of him
Absolute-
next to Mark Ingram.
Absolutely. Squad of men just doesn't even begin to state it correctly.
With this game as well, a few other stats I'd like to chuck out there, which I think what we're getting back to with Ryan Tannehill's stats compared to the great Patrick Mahomes' stats. So 364 yards, 4 touchdowns for Ryan Tannehill.
Yep, big game.
Deshaun Watson also had a great game himself, 335 yards for 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
And Brandon Cooks, who I did call out 2 weeks ago, played another pretty good game,
Been hot
68
since.
yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
However, the Texans,
However,
they are still up shit creek.
Yep.
They played the Chiefs, they played the Ravens, they played the Steelers, they played the Titans, and next week they have the Packers.
Well, it's not getting a lot
Nope.
easier, I should say,
We
to
have-
be the Texans.
yeah, that's not great English.
Yeah.
But it is like we've joked about it before. Whoever did the fixture for them must have some bone
They
to
must be
pick.
coming home with a serious wet sail.
Because-
Like,
Yeah.
they must be playing some serious
Do you
junk.
reckon the men in New York City are sitting there going, geez, the Jets fans are going, we're only 1 win behind the Texans.
Yeah.
And the Giants are like, we're level pegging. It's totally opposite. The teams are in a whole different level.
100%.
Watson's had 4 straight games of 100+ passer rating, and they've won 1 game.
Yeah.
It's
But so the
You got a feel
Titans
for him.
in the stat world, Blaze. The Titans are the first team in NFL history
Yeah.
ever to have in the same game a passer throw for over 350 yards and a rusher go for over 200 rushing yards.
Okay.
It's never happened.
So that's 2 individual history-making performances, really. And obviously,
Well, I think that's even like as a team, like they've never
Yeah.
had 2 rushers add up to 200.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Well, that is.
And those 2 blokes did it on their own.
so is he a dual-headed dragon himself?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I would say so. He's as good as 2 blokes.
Well, stick that in
not
your
better.
pipe. Stick that in your pipe and smoke a bit of history from old Slammer.
Yep.
And I reckon
history making.
As
NFL
well, just-
history.
Yep.
to round out the Titans there, what are they now? 15-3 over their last 18 games.
Yes. Yeah.
They
Really
are
hot start.
absolutely flying,
Yeah.
and I believe we'll see them flying in the Elite 8.
I think
next
that
year.
is probably a safe.
100%.
a
Where
safe
were they,
comment.
Schnars?
They were outside.
They were outside.
Oh.
We got rid of them because they COVIDed themselves.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
And that was probably warranted, all things being fair.
Yep.
But once again,
Um,
as we put teams on the burn and we put players on the burn and we crank up the heat, they've come back and won
They
2
bounced right
games.
back.
So once
Yeah.
again,
You're welcome.
you're
uni-
welcome.
the universe-
Titans fans, Sal.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome.
The NFL universe continues to spin around us, fellas. The Steelers and Browns, I guess,
Oh, dear.
playing on the words a little bit here, the Browns came crashing back to earth after running hot for a couple of weeks.
We saw Case Keenum.
We did.
We did see Case Keenum. We also saw Pittsburgh Steelers chuck 38. We actually saw Mason Rudolph, ironically, for a couple
Yeah.
of passes there as
Yeah,
well.
that made me sick.
Yeah, which was a
And
surprise.
the Browns took out Myles Garrett for that too.
Did they?
They couldn't trust him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They've got the rest of the season to play. They've got a winning record.
They just couldn't
Get him
trust
off!
38-7 was the score.
him. Yeah,
A
you
real-
would be an idiot to tip the Browns in that one.
Well, why don't you take it away from there, Chucky? What do you got for me in this one?
I'm an idiot. basically, Blaze.
That's your takeaway.
Lost, went down 38-7 after I backed him in. So pretty flat.
You'll get no disagreement
Pretty
from me.
flat on that one. But as I've said all year, Blaze, they have to rush the ball if they're going to win games.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. And that's why Mayfield got pulled. Because he
20
played like trash.
22 rushes from the team for 75 yards.
Yeah. No Chubb hurts.
Yeah.
100% hurts. And it probably
Hunt didn't look too good.
No, he didn't.
No. He only had like 70 yards. So
that's,
maybe he's a secondary back.
We've laid out the blueprint for the Browns organisation on how best to succeed in this league with what you've got available.
And it's to play teams with not good defenses.
Well, that's a great start.
Because their offense needs to fire for them to play well.
It does.
Which, you can be said for every team. But given we're, claiming them or nicknaming them the downhill skiers.
Yeah.
The downhill skiers of 2020.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Is it Lindsey Vonn?
You
The downhill skier from the American chick?
You're really putting me on the spot,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, she's
far.
American. I think she's an aerial skier, though.
Could be.
It's not really in my wheelhouse.
Anyways.
I'm sure he wants somebody that's done the moguls. But
the moguls.
my knowledge of mogul skiers, not high.
Hurts my knees watching the moguls.
Does it?
Yeah.
We'll do a special on the Winter Olympics one day.
Oh, I don't think we should.
Mark my words, that'd be a good
We'll get Elisa Camp.
What I was getting at there is they go faster downhill than Lindsey Vonn if she's a downhill skier.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
very good.
And the Steelers' defense, their defense,
Legit.
there's not
super legit.
I think I called it out. Was it two or 3 weeks ago now? There's not a lot of prime defenses in the NFL at the moment, and they're just working their niche here. They've got a solid offense, a solid defense. What I proclaim to be one of the most well-rounded teams.
You did flag that.
They are absolutely flying. And put it this way, Ben Roethlisberger only had 162 yards and one
He
touchdown.
just didn't have to do much.
James Conner only had 101 yards, one touchdown.
Yeah.
And what do they win?
That's a pretty good game.
What have they won by here?
38-7.
They won by 31
31
points.
I posed a
5
question
full scores.
in our fantasy league, and Kane Abbott, one of our illustrious fans too, responded quite adequately. I said, the Browns just crashed back down to earth now, and he quite tentatively said, well, maybe the Steelers are that good.
Well,
so we have to wait and see.
There are two sides to that coin, aren't there, Blaze?
We're going to need to see a couple more games now. And I think the Browns, as you quite rightly say, downhill skiing could be an issue for them moving
Playing
forward.
skill testers downhill.
That's right. And the Steelers, if they keep beating everything put in front of them,
Is
good
that the
luck to them.
Titans next week, Slammer?
Yes,
Yeah, so it's a huge
Titans,
game.
Steelers, massive game.
Huge game.
Huge in terms of the Elite Eight.
Yeah, massive. And that's obviously what everyone's playing for. The Eagles probably earned a bit
Oh,
of...
hang on, Blaze. We should just note.
Okay, sorry.
Steelers 5-0 for the first time since I think it was 1975.
Very good.
And Big
from you.
Dave is happy.
And they've had some pretty good teams.
And Dave probably saw that, I would have thought.
He was alive.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Can confirm my dad is older than 45.
Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback. Philadelphia, he actually was. Philadelphia Eagles.
It's a huge claim, but he might be.
No, he 100% was. I know this. I checked it. The Philadelphia Eagles, the only research
that's the
I
one
do.
thing you checked.
That's the only research I do.
He's got no facts ever, but he knows that Terry Bradshaw was a quarterback in
I
1975.
do. It was on the telecast.
Was it in some stupid Disney
Telecast.
movie or something like that?
Terry Bradshaw. I
just
don't know.
popped up.
I don't know. Can we move on to the Eagles?
Oh, we can't.
Isn't he? No, that's no.
stop.
Never mind.
Philly Eagles,
Is this the
28
Jersey Cartels
years.
Eagles?
Yes, this is the Jersey Cartels Eagles. Big shout out to them. If you haven't already, check them out on Facebook. You got some cheap jerseys going there, and they are prime quality. We rep them nearly every week. Obviously not at the moment, which is a bit of a faux pas on our part. The Philadelphia Eagles are 28. The Ravens came in with 30, and they got away with the win. But I don't think Philly would have lost too many fans with this one. I think an honest showing against good competition.
A lot closer than it probably should have been, Blaze.
Yeah.
At one stage, the Ravens were up. I think it was 23-0.
Yeah.
So
they battled hard.
yeah,
in
Eagles
true Philly
flew
fashion.
home, but Wentz had another fumble in the first quarter. Schnazzy boy, I know how you love that. 18 fumbles since 2017, most by any quarterback.
Did we have any
in
picks this
the
week,
business?
Chucky, as well?
Right, you're telling me that's more fumbles than Danny
No.
Dimes.
Yeah.
Danny
Well,
fumbles.
Has Danny Fumbles been in the league since 2017?
No.
It's been in 2 years. Or 3 years because this is full second.
Yeah, so probably not
season.
2017 then.
Dead
But he's probably had more fumbles in that period
Well,
than...
not according to the NFL app. So
Great.
Did he have any picks this week, Chuck?
picks? No, I don't think he actually did have any picks.
So that's good.
No, he didn't have a pick.
No.
Let's tighten that up a little bit.
2 touchdowns and
he's
213
playing-
yards.
I mentioned it earlier. The last 3 weeks, he's playing a lot better.
Yeah, he is.
And they're going to
Yeah.
get better as they get players back from injury. But, as they're getting players back, they're also losing players. I think Ertz is a bit banged up and unlikely to play next week too.
They've
They-
lost and Sanders as well this
Yep.
week.
And
so
he was huge.
They
as
went
well.
for
Yeah.
2 at the end of this game as well. They could have tied it up heading
Yeah.
into the edge, but they needed 2 to tie it up, and they didn't get it.
Because Sanders, what did he have? 9 carries for 118 yards.
Yeah.
He was quite good. And then, the inverse of this, talking about the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, 186 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, 108 yards, 1
Rushing.
touchdown on the ground.
Yeah.
Just a model of consistency, except that Chiefs
100%.
game.
Yeah, and that's what you
kryptonite.
want. I think Lamar Jackson is electric by all means, but what they need to be a successful football team moving forward, week in, week out, is consistency. Now you can't rely on him to break off 80-yard dashes, like quarterback runs and that kind of stuff. You need him to be able to consistently get the ball in the right place at the right time and make the right calls at the line of scrimmage.
They have lots of great offensive weapons.
100%.
It's building out heaps.
Yeah.
So, like Marquise Brown, you've got Mark Andrews, the running back. Is it Dobbins?
Dobbins and Ingram are there. Yeah.
So they've got the pieces there. So, a bit. I would like to see, like, if I was the Ravens, I want to test myself before it comes to the end of the year.
Yeah.
I want to start dialing up some plays for Lamar to air the ball out just to see what he can do. Because if you play the Chiefs, and notoriously we've said this every week, if you're down a touchdown to the Chiefs, it's 2 touchdowns to the Chiefs because Patty Mahomes will go out there and sling it.
Yeah.
So I want to see the Ravens start putting the ball through the air a bit more and saying, all right, if we're down 2 scores, can we come back in the second half by throwing the ball? Because running's not going to win you games.
Do they need to try and say, look, today don't run the ball at all, Lamar? Just stand in the pocket and throw?
Well, it might just be a matter of adjusting scheme week to week. Getting some different.
It's probably not more don't run it. It's probably more don't draw up any running plays and then run if you have to.
It's about shifting the emphasis a little bit. But then, you don't want to take away from the identity too much.
No,
if that's what wins your game,
sort of thing.
But I'm on board with you completely, Schnazzy. I think if you're going to get into those big shootout games with the Chiefs at the end of the season, and even if you run into someone like Pittsburgh or
happened
the Bills
exactly for the Bills. The Bills today. The Bills their identity today was trying to run the ball against the Chiefs, and when they were down, they just kept chewing up clock. Like I was looking at the game, going like, we've had possession for 6 minutes here. The Bills have, and they haven't scored. And then you turn it over, and then Patty Mahomes goes straight down the other end in like that.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, Josh Allen, you got to start throwing the ball. I know it's not his fault, but
No.
Well, that's the responsibility of people that get paid a lot more than us to try and navigate those waters. But I think that's a good start.
Or
I
just
think
paid anything at all.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Exactly.
So if you're
Very
a betting
well.
man, overs on Lamar Jackson's yards through the air next week because
we've called him out on it. The Ravens are actually the only team in the NFL this year that have scored points in every quarter. Every quarter they've played, they've put up points.
Well, that speaks to consistency, doesn't it?
That
does. Speaks to that consistency.
Now, let's get into this snoozer, Blaze.
Yes, this was my game of the week, and it came down to a point, an absolute shootout.
Whoa.
That's a bit of cap. The
39 points.
The Giants got to beat the Washington football team 20-19.
Yep.
They get on the board.
2019, a much better year than 2020.
Correct. Yep. Very, very well put. They come away with their first win of the year, the Giants, and we're happy to see it, but it means absolutely nothing. They beat nothing, so
well, I picked it, so I'm happy to see it.
I took it as well.
I did not pick it, so I'm pretty flat with old Riverboat Ron, who went for 2 at the end of this game and cost his team the win. Could have tied it up, but in some respects,
is this over at Niagara Falls on his riverboat?
That's his nickname, Riverboat Ron.
Is it?
Yeah, he gambles. That's why.
Oh, jeez.
That's why it's called Riverboat Ron.
I didn't know
Honestly,
that.
Doesn't wear boat shoes?
You two would not want to giggle when you don't know facts. So, but I will say this. Good on you, Riverboat. Because
if they won.
if he'd just gone for the extra point, the score at the end of the game, before going into overtime, would have been 20-20. And that would have had people triggered. So, good on him for that. But it has cost him the win. They have lost this game. So, and that's upset me because I tipped him.
Yeah.
Whereas if you'd got it on the 2-point conversion, I'd have been loving it. I've been loving it, Blaze.
Okay, mate. That rambled on for far longer than it needed to, I feel. But okay. You got anything for me, Schnazzy?
Riverboats, cruise boats, houseboats, day boats. It doesn't matter what type of boat you're bringing. Danny Fumbles and his squad of men, specifically Tay Crowder, is going to win you a game of football.
Stop. You are just capping with that. You're absolutely clear.
To be honest, though, Tay Crowder returned that fumble.
Yeah.
Pretty much won in the game.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a...
The interception or the fumble?
No, it was a fumble recovery, wasn't it?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Tay Crowder's.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the other point, I'll just give that a tick. The other keen interest that we've had from the start of the season was Chase Young.
Yeah.
No sacks, but a tackle for loss. And then Kyle Allen, who's now, it looks like QB1.
Yeah.
280 yards, 2 touchdowns, I believe 1 interceptions. Not a bad game, but still, like Dwayne Haskins had 300 earlier and got
That's
benched.
what I want to ask you. Why do you think they started Kyle Allen and not Alex Smith after Alex Smith played last week?
I think it's because Kyle Allen knows the Riverboat Ron scheme because he was at Carolina last year and played most of the games. And I think he started his career as a quarterback as 4-1.
I mentioned this in the season preview. I love Alex Smith and I love the story, but I do think it's going to be a bit of a sideshow end of the season. Maybe you'll get a couple of games. I don't think
I just feel like he gives you a better chance to win than Kyle Allen.
I appreciate that, but I just don't think that he's the future of the franchise, and I think they'd rather find
I don't think Kyle Allen is either.
I guess
but
you're right. Try and blood the youth sort of thing.
Something along those lines, I think, is where they're at. But mind you, I'm not Riverboat Ron, so I don't know. I'm a long way from
Riverboat Ron, in my opinion, is a pretty good coach. Yeah. I wouldn't have him on a...
Well, the 1-5 record doesn't suggest that.
No, it doesn't. And in the season last year, he had it.
Yeah, at Carolina.
But before that, I had a pretty good tenure with Carolina and obviously Cam Newton as a quarterback.
Neither of those teams, Carolina last year or the football team this year, are much chop. So it's hard to work with what you got. And I guess some of these other teams we're going to get to as we progress here are a testament to that.
Yep. So I can just put a big cross through that game. Don't speak about it again.
Yeah, fair enough too. Hey, the Vikings and the Falcons, a game I don't want to talk about too much. The death, play the sad music of the best bet.
Don't even bother.
Fair enough. The Falcons got their first win of the year, 40-23. Julio Jones was back in a big way this week, I think, Chuck.
Yep, I'm going to take full credit for that, Blaze, because I tried to end his career.
You did.
So...
Yep. There you go. Universe spinning around us. Yep.
Classic. He had 137 yards and 2 touchdowns, Blaze. So that's back to his old self. And Calvin Ridley had another touchdown, so I just thought I'd slip that in there.
Of course.
Matty
no
Ice.
beanie this week, mate.
What's that?
No Falcons beanie?
Oh, it's it could be somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I should have put it on.
Yeah, walkabout.
But Matty Ice, actually his first win against the Vikings in 5 tries.
Right.
Yeah, did read somewhere that the last win against the Vikings was 2001, but I don't feel like Matty Ice would have been around that long.
I don't think so. He's only 37 or so. He's not.
So
that's Drew Brees.
Anyway, so he'd lost his last 4 to Minnesota, so he's got over the hump here, which I think really he can thank for you for putting the Vikings in the best bet.
Yeah, well, you know, I think as soon as I gave the guarantee the kiss of death, I probably gave the Vikings the kiss of death.
And my man Kirk wasn't happy, and neither am I happy with Kirk.
Yep, and Dan Quinn is probably cursing me from his coffin somewhere. Unhappy.
That's what one thing I said last week. When I started going through the guarantee, and then I was like, oh, the Falcons have got a new coach. Yeah. Everyone gets up for the new coach.
Who is that new coach?
And then they did it. Don't care. But that's what screwed the guarantee.
Yeah,
I bet against that theory.
We bet against sports narratives. In fact, I did.
And it's cost us.
And it really did hurt. I don't know there was too much else to say here.
Jefferson.
The reason that
Jefferson. You were hot about Jefferson.
I love
in the group
166 yards, 2 tuds.
I'm big on
thing that I was... Dalvin Cook obviously didn't get up for this game.
Yeah.
And they had to have Mattinson come in.
No Cook! No Vikings!
Jesus.
There you go. No Delidio, no Richmond.
Apologies for your...
How that saying aged well, didn't it?
Yeah. Apologies for the headphones listeners.
Regardless, Mattinson had 10 rushes for 26 yards, 2.6 yards, compared to what Dalvin Cook was putting up. Pathetic. Which meant that Captain Kirk had to throw the ball. He had to throw the ball, and boy, did he throw it. He threw it 3 times to the other team. Kirk!
He's back on you, Kirkles.
Kirkles? Yeah.
Oh, I just don't know what to say about the Vikings anymore. I don't think they're a bad team.
No.
They're just, I don't know what's going on. You got Jefferson going out there who's filled Stefan Diggs' hole.
Like, they should have beaten Seattle, what was it, a week ago?
Yep. Yeah.
And then they throw up that trash against the Falcons.
But
how was I supposed to know?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I don't even know. Like, there's so many 1-5 teams this year. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there is. There really is.
And some of them, as we said, are much better than others.
The Texans and Vikings. Well, the Vikings have only beat the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confusing. I mean, it's hard to navigate. But I know, you briefly mentioned Justin Jefferson in that spiel there. You know, he must be making a case for one of those rookies of the year type caliber years at the moment with the kind of numbers he's putting up quite consistently. I know we'll get to. Actually, we didn't touch on Chase Claypool. Another good game against.
He did, Blaze.
73 yards.
Player.
But Justin Jefferson stepping into Stephon Diggs' role there. Now you can question whether it's scheme, whether it's situation or whatnot, and obviously quarterback is a massive question. But you know they'd be really happy with what they're getting at him for where they took him.
Oh, 100%. I don't think they have any qualms or hesitations about taking that same pick again if they had the chance.
Yeah, one of the shining lights for a struggling season.
They'd go with that pick again for sure.
To really rub salt into the best bet, we're in here.
Okay, fair enough too.
So the Vikings didn't score in the first half.
They didn't score in the first half.
They proceeded to score 7 points, 1 touchdown in the third quarter, and 16 points in the fourth quarter, which goes back to Atlanta tried to throw the game again.
Yeah, they did. They were just too far in front this time.
They were just too far in front. Are you kidding me, Atlanta? Well, maybe that's what they've learned. You've got to be a long way in front, and then you can't throw it.
You're going to have to really punch it early because we've got no gas in the tank.
Schnars, with stats like that, it is now I that needs collective minds.
It's really come full circle.
I need my brain to be put back together. That is sad. How bad the best bet actually was when you break it down like that. It is terrible.
It was a horrendous bet last Wednesday.
So was it only a 22.5 point swing in the first half than what you backed?
Help
Got
me.
it wrong by 23 points.
Fans, help me. That is why this segment cannot go on. This segment is a joke. It is actually a comedy.
For those fans out there that I reckon we don't mention it one week, just back the opposite. If
Yeah.
you backed the complete opposite, it would have won.
You would have
The
won.
overs, tick.
You would have won, and you would have won more. You would have won like tens.
That would be a best bet.
I'm not gonna say that.
Maybe do another one tonight, Blaze,
No.
just for fun.
Nah.
And then you write it up, and then go and select the exact opposite of that, and just see if it comes off.
No, because we're tempting fate, because then it will actually
Find
will get
your
up.
3 worst legs for the week and just back it as your best.
Blaze
I
is shocker
hate it.
multi.
Anyways.
I hate it. I want out completely.
Oh, let's fly into the Jags and Lions.
Oh, the
'cause I can't
the battle of the jungle, as Schnarzy coined it last week. I took the Jags and ended up coming up short. Lions 34-16. I don't
Is
know.
that the right score?
Yeah, well, that's what I got off the NFL app, mate. So, when you can fact check me live.
I think it is the right score.
I love when you do it.
I've got it 34-16 on my notepads as well.
Yeah.
So
But while Schnars does that,
I'm so glad that he's fact checking when we've checked it twice.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, thank you.
appreciate it. Matty Stafford, Kenny Golladay.
He had a good game, Golladay.
Started to click back into gear a little bit. I'm not too sure I think they had another good day in the run game.
They did, Blaze,
Right,
and I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yep.
Swift had 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, he
Yep.
was the first Lions rookie since, I don't know if you heard of this guy, Blaze, Barry Sanders, to have over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Rings a couple of bells.
Yeah, he's okay. He was all right.
It's good to see the Lions grabbing the easy apples at the bottom of the tree.
Yeah.
Just get some cheap wins.
Might go
Just,
back up on the Jags.
Matt Patricia trying to bolster that record.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on a hot seat,
So
isn't he?
Yeah,
the Jags obviously won their first one and they've lost their next 5 straight.
Yeah.
They have allowed 30 points or more in all 5 of those games.
Yeah.
Do you think this is
They're
because they're in a serious tank off now?
Oh, there's a tank off between about 5 or 6 teams.
Yeah.
And there's a tank off happening in New York City.
It's systemic in
exclusively.
It's systemic in the NFL. There's
Yeah,
a
it is.
huge tank off.
It is. It is. It's across the board, and
Maybe it's because so many of them have seen Trevor and they're just like, give me a piece of that.
Well, it does. It does speak to your 1 to 5 kind of. I'm trying to maintain my integrity. Slammer's housemate's going off his nut. The 1 to 5 teams in the league. There's so many of them that with Trevor Lawrence floating around the place, it does become a question of how badly do you need to finish 4-12 and not get anything.
Yeah. I mean, really.
Maybe let's try like 2-14.
Yeah.
The Jets aren't going to win more than 2 games.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like those teams, like the Texans, like probably a team like.
I don't think the Texans
Lions or
need
something
Trevor.
like that. No,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, but I think if the Texans get the number 1 pick, they're not going to be flat about it. They'll just be like,
they just
someone
use it.
can offer me the war chest for pick 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, very good. That's probably gave enough daylight to that game.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Probably more.
Colts and Bengals.
Probably more than it deserves. The Bengals had a big lead here, and it
21-0.
took overtime for the Colts to knock off the Bengals. Philly Rivers and the boys.
Do you have to steer into this Bengals thing?
yeah, I kind of do. Well, it's written as Bengals these days, fans. It's not even written as Bengals anymore. So you've got to give me some credit.
Got the texter this week.
Very good. So yeah, it took overtime. Probably longer than they would have liked, the Colts. But they get another win on the board, and that's probably all that really.
Phil Indy.
Yeah.
On a
come
dark,
behind win. Couldn't get that much last year at the Chargers.
True.
On a dark day for the Bengals, obviously after being up 21-0, glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel, Blaz. T. Higgins 6 receptions for 125 yards.
Yeah, they'd be really happy with T. Higgins at the moment to pair with Joe Burrow for many years to come.
Absolutely.
100%.
And so they've scored 23 or more points in
Yep.
4 games this year. And what are we? We've only played 6 games,
Yep.
and they only did that in 3 games last year.
Yeah, so
they're
they
trending in the right direction.
They're another one of those 1-5 teams. Or wait, are they 1-4-1? Sorry.
I think so. I
They
think
had the
so.
draw against
Yeah.
the Eagles, didn't they?
We should start doing the records up there as well. If we
Yeah.
had some more room.
Yeah, I reckon
God.
they drew the Eagles, but they're one of those
We're going to need
teams
another
there.
whiteboard.
They could use it. They
We're
could.
gonna need a bigger whiteboard.
I think I've called this out a few times now. And the one game they did win,
Christ.
I think Joe Mixon actually ran the ball well. This week,
We're going to need a bigger riverboat, Ron. I've said Blake
Joe
into the
Mixon,
NRL.
18 carries for 54 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
That's not going to win you a lot of games
No,
from,
no,
your,
that's
from your
crap.
spearhead.
Yeah.
So I reckon they're going to, Joe, pull your finger out, mate.
Well, what are they going to do with him there? Because, that output.
Get
is-
him to run better.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious there. I mean more along the lines if
This
the
is Captain Slammer of Ron's Riverboat.
if the uptake doesn't improve, then what?
Wait. Do you reckon his name's Riverboat because a Rivera is a type of boat?
I don't know. I heard it was about his gambling because he loves to gamble.
But
I
isn't
don't
like
know
a
how they-
Riviera like a big type of boat?
Isn't it like the French Riviera?
You're way off. Honestly, if anybody makes it to the end of this pod tonight, well done. Because there has been more rambling than
You
ever
are-
before.
You are a true fan, and Charles has got the bloody phone out to fact check again on
to
me.
check about the French Riviera.
So yeah, what I was saying.
the Riviera, Australia's premium luxury motor yacht.
Okay.
Should have
Let's-
known it.
see,
from
look
the,
at it.
From the sailing club. Who cares?
Boat.
We're live. Stop showing me pictures of boats.
Allow us to straighten up
Sailing.
and let's power home here because the poor old
Bears,
fans,
Panthers, Blaze.
the Bears Panthers in another battle of the jungle.
So we had, what was that, Bears 23, Panthers 16?
That's correct.
And I went out on a limb and I took the Bears.
You did. You backed in the Bears, and we probably
Against my will.
The
We probably should have gave him more-
5-1 Chicago Bears.
yeah, which is probably the main takeaway here. They're 5-1, and they continue to knock on the door of the Elite Eight. I don't think we can bear to bring them in just yet. But
Great pun.
but with that said, they've stacked 5 wins. They've got some wins under the belt,
They've
and
passed mine and Schnaz's season projections.
yeah, and some of
4
our
and 12.
yeah.
Yeah, I had them 4 and 12.
So
and I still don't believe it.
and Nick Foles gets to stack another win there in his new team. So I think they'll be happy with how things are going. Keep it up if you can. I don't hold my breath.
They really
on that one,
spread
but
the ball well on the weekend, Blaze. They had
Yeah.
a lot of different receivers. Foles spread the ball around pretty well there. Had 198 yards, 1 touchdown, only the 1 pick. But in an interesting stat, Blaze, the Bears are 15-4 in games that Khalil Mack has 1 sack.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess in games that he has a sack, he's obviously getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback and stuff, and that
Translates.
directly affects
Yep.
how the game ends up.
But he's the big bear.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
he's the one. They live and die by his
Is
defensive
he
pressure.
Joey Bosa?
No, he's the big bear, as in like the Chicago Bears. But yeah, not the big
Don't
bear.
know about
Joey
that call,
Bosa.
mate.
Fair enough. The little drive-by, little clip, but that's pretty standard from you. The Dolphins and Jets. The Dolphins
What a
pitched,
game.
pitched a shutout here.
Imagine if you tipped the Jets.
Who tipped the Jets? No one
No one
tipped,
tipped
the
the
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah, it's just
No one should have ever tipped the Jets. In fact, if you tip the Jets on the weekend, don't ever watch another game of football ever again.
I think the 2 big things to take out of this game, Joe Flacco gets over 40,000 career passing yards.
Yep.
Huge from him.
Yep.
Doesn't score a point though.
Yeah.
Spewing Joe. The second big thing is
Spewing.
Slams man Tua.
Spew and Joe's
Yeah,
the opposite to
Tua.
Smoke and Joe.
2 passes from Tua.
Yep.
2 completions
Yep.
coming at the end of the game.
19 yards, I think. it was.
And the first left-handed QB in 5 years to throw a pass.
Yeah.
Destined
Destined for
Jarvis,
greatness.
Gee, I was
Jarvis
just-
Landry isn't a quarterback.
No.
No.
So
He's left-handed.
it's a bit of a weird
Thanks.
one when he rolls out. And then
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, what's he doing? Is
There's
he-
not a lot of them. So
Nah.
apparently it like drops differently, like because it arcs a little bit different coming from the left hand to the right hand, like it curves late a little bit.
Can we get some sports scientists into?
No, that's true. That's apparently like if you're left-handed growing up and you're playing quarterback, most of the coaches over there will move you onto a different position because they don't want left-handed quarterbacks.
Interesting.
You can go back through all the history of the NFL. You barely ever see left-handed quarterbacks.
Well, we haven't seen one in the last 5 years throw a pass to the NFL.
Well,
so
unfortunately, he didn't throw one to Mike Gesicki on the weekend.
one of the most recent ones is probably the one the Dolphins had. Marino.
Yeah, Dan Marino.
They were left-handed.
Well, how about that? Mike Gesicki laid a duck egg. Schnars.
once again, your man.
Back to the scheduled programming of inconsistency. He blew up. He went quiet. He blew up. He went quiet again. So I don't know where we're at with Gesicki, but in a 24-0 win, I would have liked to see at least a catch, mate.
I think the thing is here, didn't Fitzpatrick still had 2 turnovers?
He did.
He didn't 24-0 win. You think, geez,
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick
he had
must have
3
played well.
TDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still not. The Dolphins, they're building from
tell you
defense,
who-
obviously.
Yeah.
Keeping your team
I'll
to
tell you who
0.
might be their bloody best player, and that's Xavier Howard on defense.
Yes.
He had another pick.
He's an elite corner.
He is unreal.
Yeah, he's a serious player.
That defense has got some serious studs on it now.
Yeah.
Oh
100%,
yeah,
100%.
God, yeah. They'd be really happy.
And that's what we said. They were building from defense first. So
They'd be really happy with it. Brian Flores has done a really good job down there.
Mm.
The turnaround time in terms of a rebuild, they've got their quarterback into it, and it's
When was the last time they were good?
Oh, couldn't tell you.
wouldn't have a clue.
It's a long rebuild.
Wouldn't have a clue.
I haven't seen him play.
in terms of really, you know what I mean.
Maybe.
In
In
terms of
him
bottom,
coming in.
in terms of
Yeah.
bottoming
Yeah.
out at the start of last year,
in terms of since
moving-
Flores has been there,
moving out all of your
he's
players.
changed the culture and he's changed everything about it, and they're building
Exactly.
from defense first. So I get what you're saying, Blas.
Yeah, thanks. Backing me
worries.
up there because the big guy just continues to clip me relentlessly.
No, it's just a question because I don't remember the Dolphins being good. I remember Tannehill playing there and they were like average.
Yeah.
Even Jake Cutler had a little bit of a stint there. They had a lot
Yeah.
of
That
doesn't
quarterbacks
say
go
much.
through there.
I guess I was speaking to more like the fire sale that happened down there at the start of last year.
Yeah, they got rid of everyone.
Minka Fitzpatrick comes to mind, and
Yeah,
a whole
Didn't
bunch.
drag.
He's
Yeah,
playing some bloody good football at
Yeah.
Pittsburgh as well.
yeah, he's a
All
real
right.
cornerstone. Big game here.
Oh, shocking! He wants to get into this one.
Big game here. Schnazi's nabbed this one. The Bucks absolutely smoked the Packers in a game that
I was nervous.
They-
They were up 10-0 when I turned it on partway through the first.
Yeah.
They didn't look like doing anything in the first quarter, the Bucks. And then before I know it, so Aaron Rodgers threw 2 picks within 3 passes, not
Yeah.
succession. But his last 156 pass attempts before that, no picks.
Yeah.
So he's throwing
You're
2
taking
picks.
the words right out of my mouth. I actually got up because the Chiefs weren't playing on Monday morning. So I actually got up and I set my alarm for like the 7:30 game. Watched this whole game, right, before I went to work. Well, so as much as I could see of it. And Green Bay were killing him. And I was thinking, oh, I'm a genius. Fuck. I was feeling so smart
Stars,
about
egg
it.
on his face.
Up 10-0. Like, they were doing whatever they liked. The Bucks couldn't get anything going on offense. And then pick 6. And then third down, he threw another interception that got run all the way back to the 2. And like that, it was 14-10. And then the Bucks just went nuts.
yeah,
And then Rob and Tom found their partnership again.
Rob and Tom
Gronkowski.
reignited the old flame.
They did.
That Buccaneers defense is no joke. I think
100%.
they've got some absolute players on that side of the ball.
Their
and,
rush defense in particular
yeah,
is seriously no
is
joke.
amazing. So on the back of that, they're really enjoying, obviously the fruits of that win. But the season is trending in the right
I
direction.
think
for
it's
them.
one of those things. Like this week, there was no penalty yards on offense.
Yeah,
Like the
Wow.
week before that, it was like 110 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like give Tom a chance.
yeah.
You've got the weapons. You've got the defense. Just don't make any boneheaded decisions. Like
Don't
the
beat
Bills
yourself.
did today. There was a few late hits from the Bills
Yeah,
team.
they really went to water in the last quarter.
Oh
We'll get
my
into that in a
God.
second.
Teams just lose their marbles
Don't
so
beat-
quickly.
Don't beat yourself.
But the
just-
Bucks,
100%.
it was good to see Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski find their partnership again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a nice touchdown. It was just a classic one you used to see in New England. Just
Yeah.
toss it up as hard as you can, lob it into the hole. Gronkowski runs into the back.
Essentially an alley-oop kind of situation.
I'll tell you who might feel a bit stupid, and that's Jamal Williams, who plays for the Packers, because he came out before the game and said, at least my quarterback knows when it's 4th down.
Yeah.
Well, not only did your quarterback get smoked in this game, you, Jamal, had a pathetic... Where is it? Jamal Williams, 4 attempts for 34 yards on the ground. I'd want to be doing more than that if I opened my trap, mate.
It's a good clip at least, but it's if you're going to talk the talk,
Yeah.
that's what it
Might
that's
do a
what it
bit
comes
better than
down
that
to.
then.
Oh, it's just one of those things. People just like to come out and take pop shots in Tom Brady. You guys have been doing it before.
Yeah.
You're not the first. You're not the last.
But I'm not going to be embarrassed by going out and running for 34
because
yards.
you're not playing in the NFL, are you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll sit
In
behind
a
my
whole
keyboard.
different hemisphere.
The other side of the world. The 49ers returned to form here. They got to beat the Rams, who are starting to prove to be a little bit up and down.
Oh, did potentially flag this last week, Blaze.
Yes, you did.
They've beaten 4 teams, and they all play in the NFC Northeast.
Yeah. So 24-16 here. The 49ers got some cattle back. George Kittle was good. So they've got over the line here, 24-16. Boys, take it away.
Yep, they did, Blaze, and they played much better than any of us were anticipating because none of us tipped them.
Yep.
So that's always good.
Yep.
I love when that happens. They are the only team this year, the Niners, to not have a wide receiver go for more than 75 yards.
Okay.
So obviously Kittle isn't isn't included
Yeah,
in
because
that.
the week before he was like 138
Yeah,
yards.
and he had
wasn't
111 or something this week.
Yeah.
109 yards on 7 receptions and a touchdown. But yeah, not one wide receiver has gone over 75 yards receiving for them all season.
Yep.
So, but Jimmy G did get back to his better ways this weekend. He had 268
Was
yards.
last week just a blip on the
Well, it
radar
must
or
have been,
something?
because they still went straight back to starting him this week.
Carrying that
Yeah.
injury a little bit, perhaps.
3 touchdowns, no picks, 270-ish yards. So great day.
He
for
did
him.
have Deebo Samuel back this week in a more open capacity. I say he wasn't limited like the weeks before. So
And then
Deebo
now they got
allows him-
Deebo and Brandon Ayuk running very similar game styles, doing different things. So you
And
got to
obviously-
defend a lot of things when you play the Knights.
and obviously Mostert's back
because
in
they're
there.
crafty.
Yes, they are. So Shanahan and the boys there, they've got a good thing going. Obviously, they were in the Super Bowl last year, and it's only one game. We need to see a body of work before we can pass judgment. But
Before you even think about that Elite Eight.
yeah, correct. But they'd be happy with that
What's the
result.
thing about the division they're in too?
Yes,
Yeah.
They are in strife at the
Yeah,
moment.
it was a must-win game in terms of the division. Absolutely.
massive,
Is
massive.
that their third win?
Yeah, I reckon they'd
Yeah,
be 3
third.
and 3.
Yeah.
And what, 2 teams are one's 5-0 and one's 5-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Rams
And the Cards are 4 and 2.
Yeah.
Good pick from you,
So,
Schnazzy.
yeah.
I like that. Into the games from today, the Bills
Oh boy.
hosted the Chiefs. 17-26. The Chiefs come away with a win, a bounce-back win after a disappointing Oakland loss. This one was up and down. It was close, close-ish. But
Scoreboard makes this look closer than
Scoreboard
it actually
does.
plays.
yeah, 100%.
The
But
Bills,
Chiefs were in control pretty much all day.
yeah,
Bills weren't really in this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
They tried to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And it just, as I said earlier, like they kept running it. They had possession for 5-6 minutes, and they'd just be nowhere.
Yeah.
A lot of running that wasn't actually going anywhere, and especially when you're behind, like ballsy.
We did
play
say,
calling.
we said it in the last one, this was kind of wrong place, wrong time for the Bills.
Yeah.
They got a ticked off team in Kansas City who just embarrassed themselves a little bit and
Yep.
lowered their colours, I should say, to the Raiders. But the Chiefs did what they had to do. They went out, they played a good AFC team, and
Yep.
they pretty much, for lack of a better word, they whooped them.
Yeah.
That's a good win, too.
They had
One of our Elite 8 from last week.
in Buffalo. That's a great win. 245 yards on the ground as a team.
Yeah.
The most Andy Reid has had in a team ever.
Yeah, right.
And the most that obviously he's ever had with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But yeah, 245 yards as a team. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 26 rushes for 161 yards.
So it's
Monster day.
Interesting little narrative underlying that with obviously the signing of Lev Bell. Maybe a bit of a statement from the young man. Hey, I'm still
Absolutely.
RB1 here.
Oh, 100%.
Lev Bell's coming a pinch here.
But
He's not
it
coming
does
to take my job.
Blaze, we might have a two-headed dragon.
I think we might have a two-headed dragon in our very own team, Chucky.
I know.
How
It makes
good's
me
that?
excited, and we've already got like a four-headed monster at wide receiver and tight end.
Yeah, I'll have to work on that. Maybe some kind of...
Oh, some sort of mythological creature that has 7 heads.
Leave it with me. I'll be back to you
To
on that one.
oppose
Yeah.
a contrary review... opinion?
Contrasting opinion?
Contrasting opinion.
Okay.
That'd be the word I'll
An
go
opinion
with.
to the contrary.
Opinion to the contrary.
Either one of those, whichever one you want to pick.
Just pick one.
Don't hyphen them.
Don't eyeball me, big guy.
Anyways, what I thought here, where you boys were just talking about a huge run game from the Chiefs,
Yeah.
I thought the Bills really let them run.
Yeah.
They just weren't exposing themselves to the big deep ball.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Mahomes didn't have that many yards. There wasn't many big plays for
Yeah,
Tyreek
it's
Hill.
quite-ish, yeah.
And it's sort of almost like they just said, all right, we won't give up the deep one, but just forgot to stop the
Yeah.
run as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
They sort of almost two ends of the spectrum here. It's like,
No, you got to rob
defend
Peter.
the run,
Yeah.
defend the deep ball, and you probably got to risk a bit on the deep ball to like shore up your run defense, and just wasn't good for me for mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything to pressure Mahomes either. He only threw it 26 times and he had 21 completions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he pretty much did whatever he wanted.
They say it a lot, like against the Chiefs, the best way to go up against them is to, generate pressure without having to blitz. Like, and
Yeah,
I
get
think-
pressure with 4 men.
Yeah, and so you can
Push
sit,
the O-line back.
you
Yeah.
can sit
Push them back.
and- yeah,
Drop 7 into
you
coverage.
can sit in coverage and you can kind of control it from there, and then
Just
obviously
didn't work for the Bills today.
and then
Not
fall in
at
on the
all.
runners. So yeah, that's the hardest question in football is how do you stop the Kansas City Chiefs?
Ed Oliver and that D-line, they got a bit of work to do.
They've got a bit of work
Yeah.
to do, and obviously this is going to be for years to come. So this is something you've got to work on now. And
They need a serious bounce back game, the Bills.
yeah, they do
Massively.
Yeah, they've been stung
Might
twice.
give them a rev up next week.
Yep, they've been stung twice in this episode. So watch this space, Buffalo Bills fans. The Cowboys versus the Cardinals.
I just love talking about the NFC East.
38-10. The Cardinals win another game after the big bait.
So I turned this game on in the second quarter.
Yep.
I tuned in from the second quarter, and it was 0-0, and I was like, geez, the Cowboys defense must be playing well.
Yep.
The next 2 drives from the Cowboys, 2 fumbles from Zeke, 2 touchdowns for the Cardinals, and floodgates open.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually,
Big
I'm not even sure
80-yarder.
that it was the Cowboys defense playing well. It was more Colin Murray was missing open throws.
Yeah,
At one
that's-
stage he was like 3 of completions on 12 attempts or something. Was playing like absolute
Didn't he only
trash.
end
He only ended up with 188 yards. but
and
he had
one of
two
those was an
touchdowns.
80-yard completion too.
Yeah.
The big bomb to
Yeah.
Christian Kirk.
But he did have 74 yards on the ground himself
Yeah.
and one touchdown. So he had a much better game rushing than he did.
But his accuracy, his throwing, they dropped a lot, but he missed a lot.
Yeah,
100%.
Didn't miss that bomb,
he did
though.
not
That
have
was-
he did not have his best game. But
He's still
he is 7-0 at AT&T Stadium at the
Yeah.
Cowboys Stadium, like through college and
Yeah,
the NFL.
okay.
7-0. He's from Texas.
So his daddy Kyler.
Sure.
Yeah.
For Cowboys, well, in that stadium,
In
100%.
AT&T.
Yeah.
We rate that.
Kenyon Drake had a monster game though.
Yeah.
20 rushes, 164 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, right up against
Big
me in
day.
fantasy football too.
I just don't understand. Like Cowboys, Mike McCarthy's seat's got to be starting to get warm.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, it's not good. It's
That is-
definitely not good.
Well, at least Jason Garrett could win some games here.
And
And
Jerry's
there.
not, the most level-headed guy when it comes
No.
to firing coaches and moving people on.
Well, it's just shown nothing.
I'd be
Like,
worried.
he came in, and Sam's touched on this before. Like he came in talking a big game about how he learned all this
Save your
stuff.
pennies,
and
Mike.
he knew this.
Sat in his
and that.
your
basement for the
pennies.
whole year.
Um,
learned all
Stop
these
hanging
new
out with
things.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Save your pennies.
Exactly. Bit of hot wind, I think, there. And we're not. I mean, they've got injuries, but everyone's got injuries. It's the
Yeah.
NFL for God's
You can't-
sake.
Here's a-
So
And almost a spin-off to your best bet. And I
Yeah.
think I came in before and said this to you as well, Slammer. So to win the NFC East,
Yeah,
The
you'll-
Eagles
you'll
are-
have to win about 5 games. Yeah,
yeah, and the Eagles are paying $2.40 with the Cowboys still the favourite to win.
yeah.
And I just don't understand how the Cowboys can be favourite to win a division when they don't play with half a team being their defense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how much of a team do Philly have?
It's getting better though. It's turned a
Okay.
corner. They played it right against the Ravens.
Right.
I think
They won last week. They've got the Giants and they've got the
Can't see
Cowboys,
straws
and
when
then
you
they've got
say
the
they're playing
Giants
okay.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my segment's not even in the ground yet, and you are trying to create your own.
And yours is
Well-
in the ground, mate.
The Cowboys and the Eagles, they're both going to maybe
They
get a
haven't
few
thrown-
here and
They
there by
haven't thrown
playing
dirt on it yet.
Washington and Giants. I think this will honestly come down to, out of the Cowboys and the Eagles, who beats up the
Washington.
football team and the Giants the worst. 'Cause
I
if
like
you
it.
manage to lose to one of those two teams, you super suck. And 2, you might not win the division.
Well,
Super
Dallas,
suck.
Dallas tried and just got over the line against the Giants, obviously, last week. But hey, I think that might just
They
about...
did have Dak last
They
week.
did
Let's
have
not
Dak.
forget they have lost Dak.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
not, I know Dalton didn't play well today, but there's going to be some growing pains. He might be able to get better because if he plays like that, then no chance.
Yeah,
Then-
yeah,
in that
100%.
case, yeah, jump on your bet. But
We need to see something out of
Yeah.
the Red Rocket for sure.
Red Rifle.
Nah, Red Rocket. So that'll do us for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans alike. We have a big episode coming up in the preview show, obviously. Thanks for joining us tonight. Obviously, if you haven't already, check out the Jersey Cartel. We'll keep plugging him. We keep getting the support from him. We love it. Check us out on all our socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and all the rest of it. Slim Sam and the Bandwagon Fan. I had to stop on the TikTok there a little bit. Twitter, SSBF Podcast. And then obviously the main ones here are your YouTubes and Spotify's, Apple Music.
Wherever you get your podcast from.
Wherever you get your podcast, Slim Sam and the Bandwagon Fan, keep showing us the love there. We love it, and we can continue to grow that way. So thanks again from us for that one. And with that said, Slammer.
No worries, mate. He's been Slim. I've been Slam. That's the Bandwagon Fan. Good night.